guys, so today I'm going to be doing a movie review and discussion on Mockingjay Part 2. The first part of this will be spoiler free, so if you haven't seen the movie yet and you don't want to be spoiled, you can watch it, but then I will get into discussion, so when it comes to that, I'll tell you when to click off and then you should click off. Before the movie had even come out, I had very high expectations for Mockingjay Part 2. The other films have just been getting better and better, and Mockingjay Part 2 I thought would be no exception. However, when the film did come out, I didn't get to go see the midnight release like I normally would, and because of that, I kind of saw other people's reactions. I wasn't spoiled, but I heard that some parts of the film wasn't as good. Like, for example, the epilogue, some people weren't happy with that and said it was really cringy. And so I went into it with my expectations like lowered from like before they were like way up here and they kind of went back to like down here. I'm happy that they went to down here because when I went and saw the film, I was thoroughly surprised and like they went back up. I'm not sure if it was necessarily my favourite film of the franchise. I really did like Catching Fire. I love Mockingjay Part 1 so much. Just, I don't know, the action in it, but also just the hanging tree song and how they did that whole sequence. That is definitely one of my favourite scenes of the whole franchise to date. It's just so powerful and so good. But I still really did enjoy Mockingjay Part 2. It's definitely one of my favourites. I'm not sure where it stands. The film seemed to be a lot more darker than the other films. They seem to be getting darker and darker as the films go on, and this one kind of hit its high. There was a lot of action. There was definitely still some happy moments and some comedy relief in it, but it was still a lot darker, and I felt like it fit the theme of the book really well. Like, we're based in a war here. Like, Mockingjay is a war, and I think that it was portrayed really well. Overall, I really did enjoy Mockingjay Part 2, and I would highly recommend you go watch it if you haven't already. I really enjoyed it. I think I would rate it a 4 3/4 out of 5 stars. So basically a 5 stars. Go watch it, basically. So now I'm going to get into spoilers, so if you've not seen Mockingjay Part 2 and you don't want to be spoiled, go away and then you can come back later after you've watched it because I want to discuss some things. Okay, so when we first got into the movie, I was kind of like just waiting till we got into the Capitol. I kind of forgot what had happened. I didn't reread Mockingjay. The last time I reread Mockingjay was when Mockingjay Part 1 came out, and I didn't think that I would need to read it again as the series was still fresh in my mind, or so I thought. But apparently I was wrong, because you know how that whole avalanche comes and they decide to bury the miners alive except for like that one tunnel? In my memory, there were no survivors. So I can't remember how true that scene was to the book, but I still did really enjoy it. And then we had Gale and the kiss, and it was just, oh, Gale is so annoying. It's like, he's okay like in the first couple of books because, you know, maybe he's got a chance, and the movies too, but like here it's pretty obvious he doesn't stand a chance, and he knows it. He's like just a whinge person the whole film. Oh, it's like kissing a drunk girl. Oh, it'd be up to her to see who she chooses. She's already chosen, alright, Gale. You were so annoying, and that final scene where she said goodbye, I literally said out loud, like in a whispered tone, but I was like, bye bitch, because I was just done with your shit, Gale. Goodbye. See you later. The film, I think, still did make me laugh in some aspects. I've really liked the humour that they've kind of kept through. Haymitch is just, he's some of the comedic relief that I think I really need in these films, and so even at times when it was gotten to the most darkest points, at some points there were still funny jokes, and they were funny because I laughed. Like, I like the humour in the Hunger Games films. So they skipped out of the whole training scene of Katniss and Joanna. Is it Joanna? I'm pretty sure it's Joanna. Of them fighting so then they can get to go into the Capitol, and they just kind of had Katniss instead sitting on board. I can totally see why they skipped out the fighting scene, but I'm kind of disappointed because therefore we got less of Joanna. And I really would have liked a training montage. As cheesy as they may be, I think it still would have been cool to see. And we get into there and the oil. Can we just talk about the oil? That was, oh my god, it was just, ugh. Like, the whole oil scene was just like, holy hell. Peter loses it, like he tries to kill Katniss, and then he murders one of the troops and pushes into the oil, and then Ren gets pushed into the oil, and then the troop kind of like gets sprung up, and like I honestly thought they were gonna like rip the body like in half in midair into pieces, and I like cringed into my partner's arms because I couldn't watch that. They didn't do that, but the whole like lunging the body up, and like you saw the body and it was just there, and it was just, wow, that was intense. And you can definitely see how it's gone a lot darker because they would have never shown anything like that in the Hunger Games first movie. Like, we saw no drama. We're like, oh, shaky cam, shaky cam, shaky cam. We'll leave the camera out here when the action's over there. So wow. And Boggs, poor Boggs. Oh, I really liked Boggs in the book, and I still really felt for him in his death. I didn't cry, I still really enjoyed him. Boggs, I'm sorry. Then we have the whole Mutt scene. The Mutts were a lot more different than I expected them to be, but I still really liked the way that they turned out. Actually, I did want to quickly mention the real or not real scenes of Peter and Katniss. Just beautiful, just beautiful. But anyway, yeah, the Mutts. And I feel like Finnick's death was a lot more impactful in the movie than it was in the books. In the books, when I read it, it kind of just happened and then we're kind of quickly moving on. I didn't didn't really feel anything because I wasn't given the chance. It wasn't also really as emotional, and I didn't cry. In the movie, however, I did. You had the whole fighting mutt scene, which seemed to go on for a lot longer than I expected. I was like looking around like I wasn't sure where to look. There was so much going on, and I loved the action scene. And then you have Finnick, and then he loses his trident, and he tries to come up the ladder, and they pull him down, and he calls out her name, and she says Nightlock 3 times, and then drops a bomb, and it explodes, and I cried. And I didn't in the book, but because they kind of showed it more, and it was definitely more emotional, it was A+. Like, I think Fennec's death was important because it is a war. Like, I didn't want him to die, but when you are in a war, you can't expect everyone good to survive, so I still think it was done well, and I just really loved that scene, even though it was very sad. It made me cry. And then we have Peter's and Katniss's kiss, and it just made me feel all the feels. It was just fantastic. And then we have Cinna. So Cinna comes up on the TV, and the one thing that the movies made me do that the books did not at all was made me feel for Cinna. The one thing the Hunger Games movie did right, the first one, was the whole Cinna and the whole kind of TV aspect thing that they had going on. And because of that, I really enjoyed Cinna as a character. Every Hunger Games movie, you knew that you had the Cinna personality to look forward to. And so I was kind of hoping in the films they would change it a little bit and make Cinna... Wait, it's not Cinna, is it? That's... Oh my god. But no, Caesar. I've been meaning to say Caesar the whole time, so I just replace Cinna with Caesar, and I'll continue on with Caesar. I don't know why I said Cinna though, but anyway, Caesar. But I was kind of hoping they would change Caesar so he would be like good, but I'm pretty sure they didn't. I can understand because, you know, that's the capital and that's how they grew up. But still, I don't know, I was kind of hoping that it would turn out to be good and kind of help them in some way. And then we have the beautiful Snow, and he gets beaten to death by the citizens, I'm assuming. That was a very brutal death. Like, Snow definitely deserved it, but like, I don't think I could really wish that death upon anyone. I don't know, I just imagine it being really painful and slow. But like I said, you deserve it, so it happened. Oh, before that though, when like Katniss and Gale are like walking with the refugee capital citizens and everything, and they're walking toward the mansion, and you see the little girl in the yellow dress, and she's looking at Katniss like she recognizes her, and the whole scene, they kind of built it up like she was going to call out something like, oh, it's a Mockingjay or something like that, and she didn't. The whole scene, it was like holding my breath, going like, is she going to call out? Is she going to call out? And then later you see her crying over her parents. It was just... wow. Now, I definitely feel like they switched deaths in the books and the films in the fact of the impactfulness. In the book, the main impactful death for me was Prim. Prim's death was so clear and honest and raw and brutal, and it was just wow. But in the movie, it happens so quickly. We only see it for a fraction of a second, and then it explodes, and it's not even clear if she's dead or not. And we don't really get that confirmation until just towards the very end. You kind of have that scene with the mother, and it's kind of implied, but still not fully thinged. And like, if you hadn't have read the books, you would still assume that Prim was alive. It wasn't clear, and it wasn't impactful. I cried when Prim died in the book, but I didn't cry in the movie, so it's like they switched the impactfulness of Finnick's and Prim's deaths. And then we have Peter, and he's planting the primrose roses, and that's the first time that they see each other, and it's just, oh Peter, be still my beating heart for Peter. And then we have that Buttercup scene. That Buttercup scene did make me cry also. It was the funny time that we finally saw Katniss being emotional. Like, she was emotional in Mockingjay Part 1, but in Mockingjay Part 2 it was just all numb. Just numb, and then finally she lets it out in that scene, and Buttercup just takes it, and oh, it was just a really, really good scene. I really enjoyed the acting and just everything about that scene. And then we have the epilogue, which was basically just like, I never really enjoyed the epilogue in the books, and I didn't really enjoy it in the movies. We've just been happy with the do you love me, real or not real, real. Like, and then that would have been the end. I do enjoy knowing that Katniss and Peter did grow up and have children, but it kind of takes away from me the impactfulness that Katniss has as a war character. Like, you can still have children. I don't know, I guess we don't really see her being as strong, as badass in the epilogue as she was the whole series. And she's kind of like a downer too, like talking to a child about the war and everything. I think I saw Chammy and Nicole discuss in their kind of discussion video, like how cool it would have been to see like Katniss teaching her kids how to bow and arrow and hunt. I think that would have been really awesome. Like, you know, because she still had children, she still did that motherly thing, but she still kept like a little bit of that fighting spirit with nerds, like passing that down. I think they decided to keep in the epilogue. I would have much preferred something like that, but they kept it really faithful to the book, so I guess we can't complain. But yeah, the epilogue is just also Katniss's face was kind of creepy. I just don't like it when they try and age people up that much. They kind of look the same except the face. I don't know, it just didn't sit right with me. But yeah, Mockingjay Part 2. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. What was your favourite scene? Also, how do you do the hand motion? How do people do that with their hands? Like, did I do it? Is this right? It's probably not even right, but I'm going to use this as a thumbnail anyway. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what you thought of Mockingjay Part 2. Are you sad that the franchise is over? I definitely am. I would love to see more of this world. Send Collins, please. And like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you'd like to see more book related videos from me, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye!